The trip was a very interesting one. I had been in Thousand Oaks, California, north of Los Angeles, at California Lutheran University. I was there as a part of the LCMNet conference, which is the Lutheran Campus Ministry Conference, the national group of staff related to campus ministry from all over the country. They had an onboarding part for 3 days at the beginning, 2 days at the beginning, which was for staff who had not been through training by the national group before, and I hadn't had that opportunity because they hadn't done it lately. So I went early, and I was there for a whole week in Thousand Oaks. Beautiful campus, really nice. It was a very interesting experience to learn about campus ministry from a perspective of from all the way from Delaware to San Diego. I mean, all over the country, people had come in to this event. It was incredible. There were people who had been in campus ministry there for 28 years and people who started July 1st. Interesting group. And one of the things that struck me as I was listening to my various colleagues was how unique campus ministries are in their various locations. One of the things I heard that left a big impression was, if you've seen one campus ministry, you've seen one. Because they're all different. Now, there are some categories that they fit into, like congregationally based, campus-based, independent. Ours doesn't really fit into any of those categories at this point because there's not one that is congregationally based that's being started from scratch by a volunteer. This is the only time that I've known that that's been done. I actually put out the question, has anybody else done this? If you can help, if you have done it. If not, then let us be a pilot study and see if it can be done in other places. It was an interesting week to be there, a very interesting week, and I learned a lot about the campus ministry. So that's kind of an update for the campus ministry because you're a part of that. You're among the 5 congregations that support us, and I need to let you know every so often what we're up to and to thank you for what you do. It's very important, supporting us with your prayers and with your financial resources and with your good words. Jesus is what campus ministry is about. It's helping young people discern who Jesus is, and in fact, discern in general where they are in faith in their lives and what they need to do to feel connected as a part of the kingdom of God. And I'll admit that not everybody decides to be a Lutheran Christian through campus ministry. But I can also tell you this, that there have been a huge number of pastors, diaconal ministers, associates in ministry, and lay leaders that have discerned the call to follow Jesus, to be sent in God's name through the campus, and I'm one of them. I'm one of them. Jesus had gone to his hometown. Now, by this time, his hometown was changed. He was no longer home in Nazareth. His home was Capernaum. Mark tells us that in earlier chapters. And he had just in the few days before been on the other side of the Sea of Galilee, the east side, where he had cured the Gerasene demoniac, healed Jairus' daughter, and also a woman who had been hemorrhaging for 12 years. And now he comes back to Capernaum, his hometown, and his disciples come with him. Now, usually we think about the disciples as the 12 who would become apostles, but this was a larger group than that. This may have been a couple, 3 dozen, or even more that came with him. They would have included people like Justus Jonas and Matthias, who were with him from the beginning. We were learning the first chapter of Acts when Matthias is elected to take Judas's place. You may recall that. It included, no doubt, some women, among them Mary Magdalene, probably Mary the mother of James, others that he had known that had followed him from their places like Magdala and other towns that were in the region of the Galilee. He was followed by them and he went home. And when the Sabbath came, he went into the synagogue to teach. He went into the synagogue where there were people who had known him as he had come to town, and probably even some that had known him as a child in Nazareth. His sisters lived now in Capernaum, and they knew his brothers. It wasn't that close, but it wasn't that far away that they didn't know each other. Nazareth wasn't. So they knew his family, and they knew where he came from. He went into the synagogue, and by the way, the synagogue is still there. I was in Capernaum. Pat and I were back in October. We were there for just a few hours. And there are two things that are very astonishing about Capernaum. One is that St. Peter's house is there. You actually can see the house that is St. Peter's. And a lot of places over there are traditional. They're not really sure whether that's exactly the place or not. This one is historical. It is definitely where Peter lived. No question about it. Because it's a house that is round, and the church has expanded as a home church for years and years and years. It started out as a small house, and now it's this gigantic circular thing that has the ugliest church in the world built on top of it. Yeah, it kind of looks like a flying saucer.